Digging the music, Ben. I love me some synthwave. I love me some synthwave. So this is from it's a service-ish, I guess, kind of. But it's another streamer that they started this up as an additional like part of their whole business thing. So it's all like DMCA free. You can use it on YouTube. You can use it on Twitch and everything. I haven't been putting it in my replays on YouTube. So I actually split up my audio streams and my recording. So I don't put the music on YouTube. So if y'all are watching on YouTube right now, that's why you don't have music. But yeah, that is the synthwave from Streambeats. It's good stuff. I enjoy it. So we have been working on a project with a Raspberry Pi and a display that's eInk based, which means it's similar to like the Kindles. And with an eInk display, it only draws power when it refreshes. So it's interesting as like a HUD or like a little task info kind of thing that I could have on the side, and I don't have to I could just leave it on all the time and then just have it update occasionally. And it works really well for Raspberry Pi because especially the Raspberry Pi Zero, which is what we're using, because it's low power. And last time we ran into a bunch of issues. Last time it was a rough stream for progress. Pretty much everything we tried wasn't working. But I think what we're going to do is I want to switch. We had a Python server. We're going to end up having to shell out anyways to get the screen to update, just based on the fact that we need to run. If we give it, if we're giving our eInk display data through a web page, we need to be able to convert that web page into a PNG or a picture file. JPEG I think works fine too. But to do that, pretty much our only option is the Firefox browser, headless screenshot. And on the Raspberry Pi, pretty much our only option is to shell out to do that. So if we're gonna have to shell it anyways, I'm definitely more familiar with JavaScript, and I kind of have wanted to try this server. It's I think one of the big Node.js servers out there is Express, and this is a little bit newer one on the scene, as it were. And there's our eInk display. That's still the picture from last time. I'm gonna move this up a little bit so I'm not cutting off the bottom of this. We're gonna spin up. We're gonna rip out our Python server. We were using Flask before, and we're gonna spin up a quick Fastify server. And we should be able to recreate what we had before pretty quickly. And then I'm hoping to do a quick page where you hit a form. So somebody on their phone can hit a form, upload a picture to the server, and then it does its thing and puts that image on our display. So then like somebody, friends or whatever, when they come over, they could throw up like a fun picture on that display. Just a little fun thing. And as we're doing that too, we'll be able to spin up a web page where we can kind of do the heads up display kind of stuff. And then from there, I'll probably do the rest of it off stream. I don't know what kind of data or what I'm going to end up wanting to put on there, but I I think that might be, if we can get it done today, it might be the end of the stream. Or it might be end of streaming this Raspberry Pi project for the moment, but let's see how far we can get today. So I've looked at Fastify a little bit through the docs just to make sure it can do its. I mean, it seems like it's. I mean, they're in version 3 already, and as far as I like, it's not new enough that I'm worried about it not being production ready. But I wanted to make sure that it could do what I was expecting it to do, and I think it can. I think it'll handle it just fine. So we're just gonna run through the getting started guide here real quick. So this is all of our Python stuff. We're still gonna need some Python, but for the most part, I don't think we're gonna need most of this anymore. These are gonna end up being like scripts that we just shell out to, I think. So we'll just have our Python. Yeah, I think we just have our Python as just like little scripts that we're running. I think it'll keep it clear, or keep it simpler. And then most of this kind of just gets dumped into, let's call it display scripts, I guess. We're just gonna dump, well, we don't need server, but we'll dump the other ones in there. I'm probably gonna have to change those around a little bit. Because they're not gonna work perfectly, but it's not gonna like that, but you can deal with it VS Code. All right, so we need to spin up an npm project. What is our default right now? 6. Volta run --npm 8 npm init. Let's see if I got that right. So that Volta is a binary that helps to manage your node version, similar to MVM. But it also handles npm and yarn, which is handy. So my default was version 6, and using this command, I was able to run npm init with version 8. This is mostly going to be a private package, so we'll just do this. Sure. All right, so now we got our package JSON. It doesn't matter too much, but I'm just going to set it private to true. I don't think I'm going to accidentally publish it, but you know, stuff happens sometimes. Okay, so we're going to do npm install Fastify. I think we kind of just copy this one. We're gonna try doing it with complete ESM module syntax. I looked into it a little bit. It looks like it supports it just fine. There is some. I don't think it's like completely perfect, but there is some expectations around exports. I think you have to do a default export to really get it to work, but I'm just fine with that. So we should be able to now do, what's our scripts look like? Get a test, which does nothing. So let's go ahead and do Volta pin npm at 8. We have to pin the node version first, so let's do 16. And I think that'll end up pulling in npm 8 as well, but we'll do it as additionally. So with Volta, you can either set defaults, or you can define it in the actual package.json file. So anytime you get into a folder that has a package.json with Volta defined, it will actually fall back and use that instead. Pin npm at 8. Okay, so now we should be able to do. There's a npm script add, right? npm CLI docs. I could just manually punch it in there, but they have this command, and I kind of would like to start using it more. Set script. npm set script start, and this is going to do, I guess, just node. Oh, run script. What did I click on? Set script. I think we could just do node server.mjs. So that gave us this command. And now we've got a server. Nifty, nifty. Looks like we are on port 3000. There we go. It's kind of nifty actually that's using JSON. And I wonder, does that mean it's using Pinot? Yeah, it is. So it uses Pinot, which is a logger. Looks like it's using it directly, which is actually nice because I kind of wanted to try that as well. Okay, so we have a route, and we're listening on port 3000. So next we want to return, I think, an HTML file. Well, first of all, what we deleted it. Oh boy. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. So just say server listening at that. Yeah. Okay. Log error. So arget ignore is a Python. Django Jupyter. Let's just do probably make this a little bit cleaner. Node module. Make this a little bit cleaner, but it's fine for right now. And we want to look at server. So we had okay, so reply.send, is that actually sending? serialize parsing request payloads. Okay, so we can actually say returns the parsed body of a request back to the client. Okay. So how do we send HTML? Most of our responses are I mean, we got something in. I guess is that JSON? Is it default to JSON and we need to specify a type? I mean, I guess it's in the actual body. Interesting. So like if we just did, it's probably easiest just to test it. Like if we just did a string. So it doesn't look like we've got the dynamic refreshes, the like hot module reloading kind of stuff. Okay, so it's not actually sending it, it's just sending data back directly. Yep. So we need to double check our headers and serializing your data, test run. Oh, there is a Fastify. There is a Fastify. Okay, okay. Hmm. So we'll try that. Maybe that is the hot modular reloading, or the like hot reloading of it. That would be nice. Server.js. Ah, that's why it's taking so long. Okay, because we were doing MJS. Cannot read properties of undefined reading length. And that's where I think we need to do some special module exports. npm start. So this is my server.js. So we need to export. So I think we can do export default Fastify. Generate. Oh, that's nice. That would have been nice to actually go through first. So you can start any Fastify plugin. If you're using Node 8, you can use promises and async functions too. So this is just starting a plugin specifically. If you like to turn your application into a standalone executable, add the following. Fastify is installed as a project dependency, and CLI was that version of Fastify running the server. Okay. Okay, so this is definitely way more going on here than what's in their other file. And like this isn't really production ready, as it were, so let's move this just a little bit bigger. So like, I think I still want to do this. So it looks like it expects default import still. Why is that? Oh, from. Ah. Okay. So app register application as a normal plugin. Oh. Okay. So here's my on hook, listeners, close listeners. So this is like my server.js. So then this piece ends up being the thing that goes into like app.js, I guess. So each one of these is going to end up being like a plugin, I presume. Now, what would be your app.js? So we still do the Fastify get. App service, app register. Requires not defined in an ES module scope. Oh. Oh. I don't really need .env, so I'm just going to take that out for right now. Cannot read properties of undefined. Huh. So it says you can use MJS. We got ports. Pretty logs. Oh, nice. So we are importing this and registering it there. Export default async. Okay, they've got an example. So like, is it just expecting package type module? I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. I don't actually need to specify use strict. App service. I think I can do this. I don't know if that's actually gonna make a difference. I mean, it seems like everything else is fine. Start it up in that. Is invalid async plugin Fastify CLI. So main tests. Yeah, see, these are all plugins. So we can, with a plugin, we can export stuff directly. Like, it's all just based off exports. So when you run it with this, print routes, prints through. Help readme generate. Out of curiosity, Fastify. Curious what generate is going to give us. A specify directory. Cool. Okay. Oop. So we get a package JSON, Fastify start. It's starting app. Oh, it's all plugins defined in plugins. Okay, so that's kind of nifty. So I think I'm going to pull this into the root. I don't care too much about this. I don't care too much about tests. Oh, and we have routes. So does the app pull in the routes? It does pull in the routes. This loads. Okay. So we're using Fastify autoload. I don't know what Sensible does. Okay. Kinda okay with that. I think we're just gonna do that. And root. That's in the routes. We're gonna pull the routes folder up, and we are gonna grab some of this. We're gonna put it in our server. Okay, so this would be if we do node server.mj. JS. What does that give us? Okay. So this is like the production thing. So if we pull our app.mjs here, let's get rid of this. I've got a light that I've been trying to string along and is now hanging by a string. Quite literally. Well. Yeah, let's grab these. I'm not sure what those do, but I want to write them down. And that means we can get rid of this. So we've got basically two entry points. We've got we can run server.mjs directly, or we can run via Fastify our app.mjs. So this app.mjs is app.mjs is just auto-loading all of our plugins and routes. Example. Okay, so what does, let's look at the docs. We've got -l and -w, -p is pre-log. -l is log level. Log level info, okay. And -w is watch. Okay, so there's a watch. All right. So I'm going to remove this. We are going to set our default start command to this with pretty logs. And then we're going to have a dev command that starts the server with all of this. Although, I mean, it did say, no, I think I like that. I think I just want to use node directly. That's fine with me. So if we run that now, oh, we're not going to get pretty logs because it's not. Fastify Server MJS. I'm not sure what it was actually in the server MJS then. All right, let's generate one more time. I want to see what was in the server JS. Oh no, it is doing app. So it's running app directly. Okay, so it's just starting it with a different. Okay. I think I'm okay with that actually. We are going to call this server. We're just going to auto register stuff. We are just going to be running it with Fastify. And I'm okay with that. So we've got start that uses Fastify. That should start it up. Cannot find package. Oh, did we install? I don't think we installed in the root. We don't need that anymore. So we forgot to install, which is why we weren't getting any of these other plugins. Oh, it was done. I hovered and it didn't scroll. Module is not defined in ES module scope. Export default. Dir name is not defined, of course. I don't remember what the ESM equivalent is. ESM dir name. Let's import something. Use strict is on by default because it's MJS. Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Then we'll just keep dir name there. So we should have a join and a dir name. Yep. And we will remove path. A lot of playing around with this. I was expecting the startup to go a little bit quicker. It's fine. Not doing too terrible on time. So I'm assuming it's standing. So now if we go to like /example, I guess. Okay. So example is, all right, so it's straight up just returning a string. Okay. And root just by default. Yeah, okay. All right. So we're going to get rid of this. We are going to run it in dev mode, which should give us more logs because log level is set to info. And as you can see there, we are getting more logs. Okay. I'm not sure what this is giving us, but it's fine. All right. Let's spin up these routes right quick. So we've got a root. Let's figure out how we can send back some HTML. I'm assuming it's something in the content type parser. So this would handle images. So the default JSON and or plain text parser can be changed or removed. Okay. Got it. So we want to add a content type parser, I believe. Then access the core HTTP request. So how do we do, okay, method post handler request body data on data log. So, hey Walton, good to see you. They're not making it terribly obvious. Decorate. Non-function values can be attached. So like, JSON schema validation to validate input. I don't think we need to get into any of that. I'm kind of surprised that the getting started doesn't have your first plugin. Like you'd think that the basic getting started would just, I mean, okay, fine, hit a database. But like, I want to return HTML. How do I do that? Serialize your data. See, that's still returning. Ops. Curious. I kind of feel like it's supposed to be under automatically adds parsed request payload to the Fastify request object. Like, why don't you have this as like, that should be an example, I feel like. I think we've got a plugin that's helping out with this a little bit. This is doing cert stuff, because HTTP 2. Everything is just replying with a JSON blob. Reply code send. Is it just me or is that odd? Like, give me an example to return. Return HTML. Okay, so I think I need to add a content type parser. XML, JSON, payload. Remove all. So does it just not come with that at all? Sorry, zero help in Node. It's fair. This is a new library to me too, so it seemed like it would be easy to spin up real quick, but it appears that everything, I mean, I could probably just add a plugin that does static files, and I'll just have an HTML file. That might be the way to go here. Plugin guide. Now where's the plugins? Where is plugin list? I know they had a plugin list around here somewhere. Ecosystem, I guess? Okay, ecosystem. Static. So like all I really need is an HTML file, so this is probably fine. So let's do this. Stop you. Install you. So this will do any file in the public folder. Path with different root. Cache control. Okay. I think that'll be fine. Do not touch the following lines. I'm gonna switch this to dynamic import, which I think will be fine. Prefix public. No, actually that's gonna do a public directory. So I'm curious if I do, so that's registering an actual public directory. I guess I can leave that there. That should be fine. Fastify.get. Yeah. I think what I'll do, I'll have a public directory. And I'm just gonna add that to my git ignore. We are going to and I'm assuming there's some sort of hierarchy here. So like if I just do get a file, if I do it on the root, and now I'm going to do root.html. Oop, how did I? Okay. There's a HTML or something with Emma, right? Yep, there we go. So this should give us a what's the exclamation mark for? This should give us a HTML file. That is being served at the root, assuming it does the pathing as I might expect it. It's going to auto-load anything in the routes and plugins folder. That it's a JavaScript file. And it is path is not defined. Path is not defined. You are correct. There we go. Okay. Not found. Status code 404. Service unavailable. Root path public must exist. Ah. Okay. Public. And then I'm going to do a and We're going to do that. Although I want that to can I do this? Yeah, okay. So I want to be able to commit my get keep so it stays. And then that way I won't get the error locally if I pull it down in another place. Okay, now found. So we're not getting that route now. So, okay. So it's auto-loading the route. I guess what I can do is, if I don't need this here, prefix is public, so it's looking for it in that folder. Yes. So the way Fastify is working, it has, I guess they call it a plugin architecture. So you register a plugin, and in this case, we're registering the Fastify static plugin. That is looking for the directory name public, and it is applying a prefix to it and serving any files in there via this folder prefix. So it's looking for a folder called public, but it's serving it at the /public route. And then these are auto-loading anything in the plugins directory and in the routes directory. So I think what we actually want to do is a root.js instead. And we're going to do in, I wish I would have kept that example around. Let's do getting started. I just need a plugin. Then I'm hoping to copy and paste. So we can register. Yeah, so I think we just need to export default async anonymous function. Unexpected token export. And I believe it looks for both MJS and JS. Fastify is not defined. Oh, yes. There we go. Okay. So I'm using ESM, which is a little bit different than. Still not finding it though. That is interesting. Still not found. Okay. So it is getting here. It's just not able to send this file. Okay, so we must be doing something wrong. So the the old, I don't know if it's necessarily the old way, but one of the ways in the past to do JavaScript was called CommonJS, and that is the const variable equals and then require. The newer way to do it, which I don't see anything about it here, is to use this import syntax. Additionally, there is a similar situation for the exports. So you import and you export. In CommonJS, there's module.export, and in ESM, there is export the function. And when you export, you can also set defaults. So there's, when you do an import, you can either do import and just have a variable, and that will load the default. But there's also named imports and exports. So if you export a function with a name, you can also import it with a name and using this destructuring pattern. So that's what we've done here. We are exporting it as default, and it is dynamically registering it, searching like via this glob. They're basically searching in this folder for anything that is .mjs or JS. So it's registering it, it's getting it, it's replying, but our reply.send file isn't working. So why is it not working? So this is what we have. We are specifying a root and a prefix. What's the root do? Reply.download. Oh. Sending a file. Okay. So there's reply.send file serving. So this serves oh, interesting. Interesting. So you need to add a templating engine on top if you want to serve dynamic pages. Yes, this is strictly just the server, which I was fine with because I want to kind of keep it slim. And there is a plugin to do that too. They've got yes, yeah. Let me pull that up first. There's this plugin called Point of View, and you might recognize some of these. They've all been around for a little bit. And that's if you want to do dynamic pages on the server. So you can still send HTML and do JavaScript stuff client side. So you're not you're not boxing yourself into not using JavaScript. Check's nice. Yeah. It seems if you've done anything with web dev, regardless of the language, you've probably looked at or touched one of these. It feels like. A bunch of the other big static generation type frameworks also use these, and even like I think Hugo does. Hey, Finite. I think Hugo does just the Go templating, but it feels very similar to these templating engines as well. they're all kind of the same-ish. You need to learn Twig for PHP. I haven't actually done anything with Twig. PHP templating engine? Okay. When I first started learning like web dev, PHP was the first thing I touched, and I did not enjoy it. So that's actually how I got into Python, because I was talking to a friend that was into web dev way more than I was, and they're like, well, try Django. And then I spent the next like 5 years doing Python stuff. Okay. So we are registering public. Okay, so what I was just reading before we got into that was you can send a file directly with the expectation, now that we've registered this plugin, that it is coming from the public directory. If we want to send a file that is not coming from the public directory, then we need to actually specify the location of it from a different root location. So I guess we do this jazz again. I don't know if I really like this setup that I've kind of gotten myself in, but so is it just expecting a path? Yeah. And I guess I don't need to do anything relative here. Your name is not defined. Oh. So how'd the rest of your stream go, Finite? I was in and out a bit between meetings or whatnot. Hey, there we go. So now this is our HTML document. So we can do whatever JavaScript stuff we want to in this. So like if we want to do, let's see, image upload form. It went okay. The whole daytime time zone thing reared its ugly head again. Yeah, the amount of time wasted on time is likely significant. Okay, what do we want to use? I think I'm fine just using HTML directly. Like I'd like to do some with a camera or something like that. But I think I'm probably fine with this for right now. Choose a picture. Display picture. So like I would like to, when you visit this page, it give you the option to like, I mean, I wonder if you click choose file, if it's actually going to take you to, like if I do this on my phone, can I get to the photos? I might be able to. Like what I'm trying to do is if you click a button, I want to be able to go to the camera app and take a picture right away, rather than having to take a picture and then go to the site. But you know, one thing at a time, I guess. Label 4. So I must not have any like real CSS in here. The file API. Okay. I think so. I think so too, but I can't remember. Okay, so we've got an HTML page. Let's see if we can copy over these other routes real quick. I want to be able to get a bunch of these routes in here so we can. Camera access is a little harder. Yeah. Because so the idea being that we're gonna have to crop the photo. And I'd rather crop the photo client side so the person taking the picture can do the crop. And if they could do it all on the page to where when they hit upload, it's uploading a smaller image, that's the perfect size. I know iOS might let you take a photo. Okay. We'll have to try it. I'm cool with just an input for right now, and I can always change that later. Routes. Let's add a couple routes to match this. So we're gonna have a refresh.mjs. I feel like it's a little bit weird doing, I guess. So this is basically going to be like, we've got that. Refresh is just going to clear the screen. This is to clear the screen. And then we want, it's not realistic anymore. That's the root. So if I do this as like refresh 2, I'm curious. When you get to that point, it might be helpful. Capturing images. Okay, cool. Thank you. So if I go to the refresh route, okay, so it is actually doing it based off of whatever I'm typing in there. Got it. So I can probably do, we'll do a refresh, and I think we'll do a, so refresh will like clear, well, I guess we'll call it clear, and we'll call it stripes. And we will, data is going to be for our browser stuff. So I think we'll do a refresh, we'll do a root. Root's just going to get us to the home page, which I think is going to be where we're going to have the picture. I originally had it as snap. I don't think I'm going to do it that way though. And then we're going to do a, I'm just going to call it HUD MGS. And that is going to house the roots for it's going to house the root, or it's going to house the routes for the browser stuff. When we hit that, that's going to be the route that has like what we want to show for the image that's being created from the browser. Oh, did I really close that? Okay. All right, so we should have a clear. We should have a stripes. We should have a HUD. They're all the same right now because they're just doing this. So I can say reply send. And I'm going to just do this. This is the HUD. That's fine here. And stripes. Okay, so that makes it clear what it's going to do. Now what we need to do when we hit these routes, we need to like kick off a async process that I think we just wanted to run. And that will be the way that we are essentially like running these functions. And the root is going to take a picture and then it's going to, I guess if this doesn't really matter, I'm going to call this snap. And if we're doing all the roots, or if we're doing all the routes based off of this fastify.get, like kind of fine having it not actually have an index. So we're going to have a HUD and we're going to have a refresh and we're going to have a snap. Snap is going to do the HTML. Refresh is going to do the stripes and the clear. So if we wanted to do, we basically need to do spin off a process to clear this. And this is where we can do child process stuff, which basically lets you shell out. And I can shell out and run the Python script that actually does this clearing. And the reason we're just going that route is because for our HUD, we have to do that anyways to run the Firefox screenshot utility. I don't think there's any other way that we can really do that without shelling out. And I'm pretty sure I can do the shelling out much quicker in JavaScript than I can in Python. So I think that's good to go. We don't actually need anything from that at the moment. So let's see how this shelling out works. So well, that didn't work. The company that I work for is called Frontside. Part of me dies every time JavaScript is used as a server language. Yeah. There's positives and negatives to everything, really. I mean, like every language has its downsides, as long as you understand what that is and you're approaching the task with that in mind, it's not really going to be an issue. Like it's one thing if you're doing like high performance stuff and you really need to eke out every like little bit of performance, then what language you use starts to matter. And so it's like if you're writing Rust, one of the big things is its memory safety. If you are writing code that tends to have issues with memory errors, then Rust might be a good choice. You can use Rust for a lot of things, but there's definitely, every language has this thing that it's like real good at, and you can play to that strength. But as long as the downsides aren't detracting from what you're trying to do, And then at the end of the day, you're trying to ship code, and I've done enough JavaScript that I can ship this quick. So I want to just spawn up a process. So we need to do npm add Effection and Effection process. And we're not going to be using main. I think we're going to be using run to just run this. But I suspect it's going to be something of this sort. So we're going to have a I guess we'll put it in here in display scripts. Process.mjs. So we want to do, let's just do export run process. Yeah, I think that's fine. How do I want to do this? I guess I just want to wrap it directly in a run because we're going to be running it just straight up. So in Effection is a structured concurrency library written in JavaScript. It uses generators, so it deviates a little bit from the more common async await promise chaining type syntax that you might see, but it gives you a lot more control. And what I can do things like spawning off separate processes, which is going to be helpful here. And we want to, there's two ways we can run these. There's a main function and a run function. Main is more for the use case where where that is sort of wrapping your whole function or whatever you're doing. Run is kind of just like a one-off, like fire this thing off and let it do its thing. So we are going to run, and we need to yeah, I think we do that. So then this will be the command. And put that there. Exec spawn run export process. So now we can import process from display scripts / process.mjs. You felt that way for a long time, but now Modern Node has really surprised me at how scalable and efficient it can be. And the big advantage, if you combine something like Angular on the front end and Nest.js on the back end, it is pretty seamless, framework-wise, full stack. Yeah, and like, I mean, they've sold the like, you can use one language for everything and it's less context switch, but I still feel like there's context switch because you're going back end to front end. And especially with like microservices becoming much more popular, I think that has enabled JavaScript servers to scale better. But like, I think the thing that has really helped keep JavaScript servers around is its integration with GraphQL, and GraphQL has become popular. And being able to tie the GraphQL and the TypeScript and push those types back through into the front end, I think that's really enabled a lot of things. And it's the type of things that it would be much more difficult to enable if you had a backend written in something else. Being able to like do all the typing in the backend and share that work with the front end. It's so completely valid. I'm just behind in all my language skills since my daily PHP. Yeah, and I mean, whatever works really. And there's Ruby on Rails, there's Django. Those all come with you get a lot of the stack that comes with that, and that can work for many apps. But if you're doing something that's way more front end heavy and data fetching heavy, I think that tends to lean you towards more of the SPA type architecture. So Angular or React or Vue. And that coupled with GraphQL ends up being really powerful. Nest is really Angular for the backend. I haven't used Nest much myself, but I've heard good things. I've definitely never heard anybody say it that way. It's interesting. Okay, so we've got this process. Now we should be able to. We've got a function. We should be able to just run this directly. So if we just say process and give it a command, it should run this function. So it's just going to straight up run this function. We've got a closure command is going into exec. I think this is actually going to block, but we'll find out. 100%. Though I think the decision of GraphQL versus REST comes down to how deeply nested my data is. For relatively flat data designs, REST is efficient, lightweight, etc. But once you start dealing with deeply nested stuff, GraphQL absolutely shines. Yeah, and I think I don't think REST is going to go away. But I think especially once you start to kind of bring like humans into the mix, there's a lot of people things that are sort of inherently circular. And I think the circular, I mean, the deeply nested stuff, yeah. But also, like, once you start getting nested, you start moving towards also circular as well. And I think that's where GraphQL ends up being really beneficial, because you can grab just the pieces you want, and it's the circular is easier to deal with GraphQL rather than having to like copy data everywhere. And especially since it's like you don't necessarily, like, it's not necessarily an either or decision. You can have a GraphQL server resolve to you can write your resolvers to point to a REST endpoint. So you can have REST endpoints in your system, and you can have some things that are better hitting those REST endpoints directly do that. But you could also have a client using GraphQL hit those REST endpoints as well. You're just mad GraphQL wasn't around in a big way when you started your current project. It's perfect for GraphQL. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that's the thing, is it's difficult to go from REST to GraphQL. And it's easier to start from GraphQL and like drop in REST if it really makes sense. I can definitely understand the non-trivial. I wonder if there's something to like convert REST endpoints. I don't know enough about Django and their ecosystem and how it works with GraphQL to really know. But I wonder if there's something to like layer a GraphQL server on top of what you have, and or like automatically do some conversions. I gotta assume there's some code mods at this point, because there's gotta be. You can't be the only one that's run into that situation, Okay, so we've got we've got this process, we've got a refresh, we should have it hooked up to the /clear. So if we hit that endpoint, let's see what our logs look like. Look at that. So now, I think I can do sleep in new shell. We'll see what it does. Right? Sleepa. I don't remember if you sleep 20. Nope. Expected duration found 20. Well, that's okay. Let's do a lot less than 20. Okay. So it seems to work. So if we do sleep for 5 seconds, I don't know if this is actually going to parse right on Windows. And echo. We will see. So the request completed, we got the response already. But 5 seconds later, we should get a log. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that because we have sleep 5 seconds. Maybe it didn't work. And it might actually, this is probably going through CMD, so it's not going to work with the new shell syntax, I don't think. Okay, well, let's do what would be another good way to test this? I think there's a GraphQL public plugin for Django. I think restructuring the backend would be the easier part. Client code would be tough. Yeah, I feel that. Definitely. Because then you start having to, like, especially with, if your front end is entirely JavaScript heavy already, you're basically going to have to change all of your routes and everything. It would be maybe a little bit different if you were a little bit more JavaScript heavy on the front end, where you could pull in a client that might help make some of those GraphQL calls. But yeah, I feel that. JavaScript heavy would be putting it light. I mean, it's not wrong. You like, when I say JavaScript heavy, I don't mean like you can ship big sites and handle and like make it light on the client. It's not impossible, but you can also accidentally ship big sites that are also heavy on the client, both in compute and in size. So, are you doing? Is your app mostly server side logic, or are you doing things client side at all? This is a WebView mobile app, so it's all JavaScript. Oh, so Django is strictly serving as your backend, eh? So, oh yeah, because you said you're using capacitor. You said you're using capacitor, aren't you? Okay. Right, capacitor? Capacitor. Ooh, wow, okay. Capacitor. Why do I have such a hard time? There we go. And ionic, okay. Oh, yeah. I remember that now. Okay, so we want to do short-lived process. Yeah, we just straight up want to do this. Like we want to, but we don't want it to actually wait. And that's the part that I'm not 100% certain on if it will. So like what could we... I mean, we could... So this library has two main spawning functions. There's exec and daemon. Daemon is for starting up long-running processes. Exec is for one-off stuff. But what I want to do is I want to just spawn off the process and have it run and just immediately return. So I think we want to do... I think we want to set up our process. Let's call it child process. And then we want to spawn. And I think we just want to do a yield. Well, it's got the yield embedded in it. I think we just want to do dot join. And we do want to log out the text. You know what? Actually, I think this is good. Shoot, I'm not remembering now. Okay, if we just want it to run, I think this is actually going to wait for it to finish running. But I want to spawn and not wait for it to finish. We want it to complete in an orderly fashion. We don't want to have any extra error handling. It's a convenient operation which blocks. So both of those block. So I don't think we actually want to block at all. I think we just want to do something like this. Like we just wanted to spin it off and do its thing. And I'm actually going to copy this because that's, I think, going to be a good test for us. So this is child process, standard out. App crashed. Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, who is? I guess that makes sense. Guess there's really not a good, like... So is it not, it's not actually logging it out, is it? So it's executing the command. I'm pretty sure this is going to block. Let's look at spawn. So we don't actually want to block it. We just want to spin it off. And I'm fine if it's just running in the background. Okay, so and then wait for them. So spawn would let us wait, but we can handle any errors or anything like that. So like, actually in this case, I think I just want to run, which feels not great. But I guess we're doing that already. So if this, yeah, so I guess we're already spawning off a run and we're not, we don't need to like wait for it or anything like that. So we're just gonna run the thing and we can wait within this script. And that I think is actually gonna be okay. So if we're doing, I think we can actually do this then. Maybe it was right. I think I might have had it right the first time. So this should give us child process should be logging it out. We are running the function and logging out the result. Didn't we just have this working? Oh. I added the expect here. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Let it refresh, restart. There we go. Okay, so now we're getting a buffer. And command echo, signal that. Okay. So I think I'm okay with that. We do want to make that prettier though. Buffer. I thought it did some. We also want to log out standard error. Is text not a toString, I guess? Do I have to stringify it? There we go. And then I'm going to do a dot trim to. I guess I can leave that on there. No. We're going to do a dot trim and that'll take off the new line that comes in afterwards. Okay, so I think this will let us do what we're wanting to do. So this, we need to run a clear. And then we need to run a stripes. So this was going to be Python. We're running from the root, so we're going to do display scripts slash. I don't have a stripes.py. I'm gonna have to grab that. And then this is going to be the same, except with clear. So it should not actually crash our server if we have an error or something in here. So if we visit this, we don't actually have Python. It's saying we can't open the file. Our server is going to keep running now. And it's all basically hard coded. So I don't think there's. I mean, this is all going to be run locally. It's all going to be on a local server, and I'm not going to expose it at all. So we shouldn't have an issue with Any security around just running a child process directly on here? Let's grab the Inky. Grab the stripes. Right, that was stripes. Yep. New file, stripes.py. All right, we are going to. There's more that I would like to do with this image and whatnot, but we're starting to get towards the end of the day, around to the end of the stream. Yep. So I think we'll save this, and I guess I probably want to have a cycle too. We'll get these in here. We'll get these pushed up to that server, and I don't really care right now. And we'll give it a shot. And I think that is going to be it for today. Okay. And image. So this should be able to give us something to work with here. I think I'm gonna skip the image thing for right now. We'll just get the clear ones in there. Just make sure we can spin those off, and then that'll give us a good. I was hoping that I could get a good chunk of that done today, but I think we'll just do the HUD thing another time. Excuse me, the snap thing another time. But we've got kind of all the framework there and the stuff that we need to like run these things. So we should have, let's see. See if my nope. Oh, bad owner permissions. I think this is on. Let's double check to make sure I've got it on. My Raspberry Pi, that is. It is on right now. It's got a different IP address. There we go. Okay, so we're good. We are gonna have to install Node on there real quick. But I think we've got everything else all set enough that we can run with this. Okay, so we're not gonna do too much as far as commenting on what we did. Git commit. Switch to Fastify Server with Effection. Pull it down. We need to install Node, so let's look up Raspberry Pi install node. I'm assuming you can do a uget. Oh, I guess they do. They do wget, don't they? Or not a uget. An apt-get or apt. So app search node. I mean, we can always fall back to that way. Oh boy. Okay. No, there's a lot of node stuff. Node tar, SRS. Wow. Okay. I just want the actual binary. Let's do within the past year. Here, Node.js. Is it really only a 12? All right. Yeah, okay. I would say we tried this last time to figure out what. So this is ARM 6. I think I'm just gonna do this because I want 16. And I'm fine just having it at the system level for the moment. So Node.js, we need 16 for there's only ARM 7. Curious. I need to go back down to 14. What are they using here? So this is doing Node 10. Install on Windows, unofficial builds, previous. So is 12 the last one that's available for this? Is that why? Because that would be rough. So 16 has an ARM 64. Which would be ARM 8. Dang. So apt, is there a way we can get information about the actual package? or a version of it or something. List packages, search, show package details. Apt show Node.js. So that would be version 12. Node.js legacy. For bullseye. We could maybe have issues with this. Shoot. Node.js ARM 6, not 64. So what's node source? Well, so Raspberry Pi 0 node 14. I'm just curious. Maybe we'll get lucky. So ARM processor ARM 6 officially support required as of node 12 and later. They're automatically generated. Oh. On official builds, okay. Release. I mean, I'm okay with this. Sure. Okay, so they got an ARM 6 here. We're gonna try it. We are gonna try it. So we need to wget the tar xz. Copy link. So now we can tar xj. Come on. This autocomplete is slow. There we go. So this will unpack it. Then we can copy it to our user directory. And hopefully it works. This might take a hot minute. Oh, actually, it wasn't too bad. I guess so. CD and recursively copy everything into. Well, I'm curious what's in there first. Bin change log license share lib. Okay, so this should give us okay, fine. I mean, RMRF node. All right, so now we should have we've got node. Does it not come with npm? It does come with npm. Version 7 though, which is I wish it would be different, but I'm fine with that. Dev RPI server git pull. Now we should be able to do npm install. It should install all of our dependencies, and then we can do npm start. That should start the server. Then we'll probably have to set it up as a service or something, so it starts when it boots up and just starts in the background. But I'm gonna deal with that all off stream. We'll get this all set up, try to hit that point, and that will be that. I would have liked to get more done, but honestly, like, I'm kind of okay, assuming this works with how much we got done. We'll see what we're feeling next week, but if these all work, we should then only need to do some data stuff, which I might do off screen or off. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you need to lay the foundation. I think I'll end up just doing this off screen or off stream. Well, I mean, I guess we can split that up. That wouldn't be too terrible. Just basically do a straight up browser source kind of thing. And we might need to do do I need a plugin for file upload? I think I do. They have one. Ecosystem. There is a plugin called, so there's multi-part, but that's strictly just, I mean, it gives you the file, so you can get files off of the multi-part. And multi-part is when you post, you can post a file, so we would submit on our form a multi-part. And within there, we can give the file information. I thought there was another one though too. Bear auth accepts cookie. Rate limit. I'm not seeing it, of course. Auto routes, file upload. Set in the, oh, that was under the community, that's why. So we could probably just use this, I'm assuming. Fastify, yep, that was the one that I landed on too. I probably will just use this. I'm guessing it's a little bit of a sugar on top of what the other one's doing. Reply.send. Yeah, so I think we end up just making a form that lets you upload. So there's the two things we want to do. We want to do the image upload, draw it out, and then we also want to do the HUD, which will refresh somehow. Maybe we set up a job that just refreshes it every, like, I don't know, 30 minutes or hour or something like that. And it hits this endpoint to do that. Get the, like, when we shell out to run the Firefox screenshot, we hit this route. So we can. I know there's a job scheduler plugin as well. Fastify Schedule, which uses Toad Scheduler, which I've not heard of, but looks fine. And we can, once the server starts up, we can either do it like on server start or on something that triggers it. So what we can do is when we like hit a route, we can like turn on this job. So like during the workday, I can have it running, and then at the end of the workday, I could like turn it off. And then, so that'll get us a route to hit that'll update. And it will shell out, run the Firefox screenshot, make the image, and then put it on the display. And then the other one is you visit the homepage, you upload a image, it dithers and does that thing, and then it shows it on the display. So I think we're basically gonna have the two things. And I'll probably do a bunch of the HUD stuff, like the actual data itself I'll do off stream, but just getting it all wired up to, you know, hit that endpoint and do the thing. That's probably something we could do on stream. Okay, so now we've got this. So we should be able to do npm run start. That'll give us the server. And we might need to, that's going to be local. I don't think I'll be able to hit that. Ooh. ARM v6 not supported. Okay. Well, we can try dropping down to we can try dropping down to a lower version. Which might make sense. But I think we're gonna have to like play around with that. Getting it running on here. I was not expecting this to be as big of a deal as it is. Okay. Well, I think that's where we're gonna call it today. Too bad we couldn't actually get it running and doing anything. But you know, it is what it is. I know. I mean, some of it is, this is the Gen 1, so I don't know. ARM 6 I don't think was well supported in the first place anyways, so like I can't feel too bad that it's not supported, I guess. But you know, it is what it is. All right. Should we do a raid real quick? We can do a raid. Anybody have suggestions? There's a couple of people streaming. We haven't actually rated Coding Garden. It'll be sort of a Coding Garden usually has a lot of viewers. What's the? Do you have any other people streaming that I haven't seen before? What do we got going on? Come back to this. RockoDev is working on Tau stuff. Check them out. All right, yeah, let's go for it. We'll try RockoDev. All right. Thanks for everybody stopping by. Hopefully we can get a little bit further next time, but you know. Yeah, I think we can. I keep saying I think we can get done next time, but then we keep running into issues like, you know, well, that's not showing up anywhere, but you know, distro stuff. So what can you do? But yeah, next time we'll see if we can get it done, or maybe next time we stream this, we'll see if we can get it done. Maybe we might switch it up next stream for next week, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by.